Hello students, I welcome you all to the online video lecture on course heat transfer. So today we'll discuss the fifth lecture on module number 5, chapter 2, that is boiling and condensation. In the previous 4 lectures, we have seen the introduction concepts on the boiling, the different regimes of pool boiling, or popularly it is known as boiling curve. We have also seen the numericals on boiling. In the today's session, in the lecture number 5, we'll be studying the next topic as per your syllabus, that is the condensation heat transfer. As the name itself indicates, the condensation is a process in which the vapor form is converted into the liquid state. So there is a phase transformation from vapor state to the liquid state. It is exactly reverse to the boiling phenomena or boiling process. So before going to the definition, let's have a very simple example on the condensation. Now, if we consider a bottle of cool drinks, this is the cool drinks bottle. If this cool drink bottle is taken out from the refrigerator, then after a few seconds, you can find a small droplets of water over the surface of this bottle, over the surface of this bottle. So this is due to the condensation, because initially in the atmosphere it contains some amount of water vapor which is in the saturated state. When the water vapor comes into contact with the surface whose surface temperature is Ts, let us assume the surface temperature of the bottle is less than the saturation temperature of vapor. What we are assuming, the surface temperature of bottle, that is Ts, is less than the saturation temperature of vapor. So that's why the vapor loses its latent heat to the bottle surface, thereby transferring its phase from vapor state to the liquid state. Okay, so this process in general is known as the condensation process. Let's read the definition of condensation carefully. The condensation process is a reverse of boiling process. The condensation sets in wherever a saturated vapor comes into contact with the surface whose temperature is lower than the saturation temperature corresponding to the vapor pressure. As vapor condenses, the latent heat is liberated and there is a flow of heat to the surface. The liquid condensate may get somewhat subcooled by contact with the cooled surface, and that may eventually cause more vapor to condense on the exposed surface or upon the previously formed condensate. So depending on the surface condition, the condensation may be of two types. The first one is film wise condensation and the second one is the drop wise condensation. Okay, now depending on the nature of surface or the process of condensation, the condensation is divided into two forms. The first one is the film wise condensation and the second one is drop wise condensation. Okay, so from your examination point of view, these two processes are very important. So sometimes he will ask differentiate between the film wise condensation and drop wise condensation, or with neat sketch explain the film wise condensation and drop wise condensation. So you should be in a position to explain both the condensation phenomena. So let us discuss the very first film wise condensation. As the name itself indicates, this is a surface. This is the surface which is maintained at temperature, the saturation, the temperature Ts. If this plate is exposed to the air or the vapor, let us also assume the surface temperature of this wall is less than the saturation temperature of vapor. then generally the vapor will loses its latent heat to the surface, and hence there is a phase transformation from vapor state to the liquid state. Okay, now thereby forming a thin layer of film, a liquid film or the condensate film which covers the entire surface. I repeat, a thin layer of film of condensate which covers the entire surface. So this is called the film wise condensation. This is called the film wise condensation. Now let us assume a plate here. Let us assume a plate here which is maintained at temperature say Ts. Ts is the surface temperature of this plate. Now if we consider the surrounding temperature or the vapor temperature, that is at Tsat. So Tsat is a saturation temperature of the vapor. When this vapor comes into contact with the surface whose temperature is less than the saturation temperature. So what we are assuming, this assumption is very important for condensation. The surface temperature is less than the saturation temperature of vapor. The surface temperature is less than saturation temperature of water vapor. Okay, now this water vapor will loses its latent heat. It will loses its latent heat to the plate or the wall, so thereby forming the liquid condensate, thereby forming a thin film. Okay, now as the condensation proceeds, the thickness of this film will increase. As the condensation proceeds, the thickness of this film will gradually increase. Okay, now the liquid which is formed, which is in the form of condensate, due to the gravitational effect or because of the influence of gravity, it flows down. It flows down. So that's why you can see some water, some water around the surface or at the bottom of this cool drink bottle after a few seconds when you take out from the refrigerator. Okay, so the droplets or the film of condensate which is formed over the surface of the bottle, if the thickness of this film gradually increases, so because of the gravitational effect, the film or the water will flow down. So you can, after a few seconds, you can find the water at the bottom of this bottle. Okay, so this is the very basic or the simple explanation for the film wise condensation. So let's have some technical discussion on the film wise condensation. Okay, now let's read each and every point carefully. If the condensate tends to wet the surface and thereby form a liquid film, then the condensation process is known as film condensation. Here, heat from the vapor to the cooling medium is transferred through a film of condensate formed on the surface. The liquid flows down the cooling surface under the action of gravity, as I explained, and the layer continuously grows its thickness because of newly condensing vapor. The continuous film offers thermal resistance and check further transfer of heat between the vapor and the surface. Okay, now as the film is formed over the surface of this wall, over the surface of this wall, this film acts as a barrier. This film acts as a barrier for further heat flow. Okay, so it offers some thermal resistance because we know the thermal conductivity of liquid is less than that of thermal conductivity of solid. Okay, now here after formation of film, the vapor will not directly comes into contact with the surface. In fact, it has to transfer its heat to first the film of condensate, and thereafter the heat transfer takes place to the surface. So that means the film between the vapor and the surface, the film of condensate between the vapor and the inner surface, it acts like a barrier for the heat flow. It is called, it offers the thermal resistance. It offers the thermal resistance. Okay. Further, heat transfer from vapor to the cooling surface takes place through the film formed on the surface. The heat is transferred from vapor to the condensate formed on the surface by convection, and it is further transferred from condensate film to the cooling surface by conduction. Okay, now this is very important. This is very important. Now the film which is formed over the surface of the bottle or the surface of the wall, the thin layer, which acts like a barrier which resists the further heat flow from the vapor to the solid surface. Now here there are two modes of heat transfer. There are two modes of heat transfer. Now if we consider this side view, let me consider this as a plate. Let me consider this as a solid plate whose surface temperature is Ts, and this is the film. This is the film which is formed over the surface of the wall, over the surface of the wall. Now the vapor which are coming into contact with this film, the vapors which are coming into contact with this film, there is a heat transfer. Initially there is a heat transfer from vapor to this film by means of convection. I repeat, the heat transfer from vapor to the liquid or to the liquid condensate film is by means of convection, and further the heat transfer from the outer layer of the film to the inner layer of the film is by means of conduction. Okay, so first from vapor to the liquid film, vapor to the liquid film is by means of convection, is by means of convection, and from the outer surface of the liquid film to the inner surface of the liquid film is by means of conduction, is by means of conduction. So due to the combined effect of convection and conduction, there is a reduction in, there is a reduction in the rate of heat transfer. Okay, there is a reduction in the rate of heat transfer as compared with the dropwise condensation. Okay, so as such we have not discussed the dropwise condensation yet, but remember students, the rate of heat transfer in case of film-wise condensation is less than that of the heat transfer in case of the dropwise condensation. Okay, let's read out further. Okay, this combined mode of heat transfer by conduction and convection reduces the rate of heat transfer considerably, reduces the rate of heat transfer considerably compared with the dropwise condensation, compared with the dropwise condensation. That is the reason the heat transfer rate of film-wise condensation are lower than that of dropwise condensation. So the film-wise condensation is shown in figure number 1, that is film-wise condensation. You can see here, this is a plate and the surface temperature of the plate is Ts, and when this surface plate or this plate comes into contact with the vapor whose temperature is the Tsat, the saturation temperature, and initially what we are assuming, the Ts, the surface temperature is less than the saturation temperature of water vapor. So these water vapor will, vapor will loses its latent heat to the plate, and hence it will loses its latent heat. It will loses its latent heat to the plate, and hence there is a phase transformation from vapor to the liquid state. So remember students, in film-wise condensation, the entire surface, the entire cooling surface is covered with the film. This is a very important thing. Okay, fine. Now let's go to the next type of condensation, that is dropwise condensation. Okay, now as the name itself indicates, if we consider this as a surface, the cooling surface or the plate whose surface temperature is Ts, and if it is exposed to the vapor whose temperature is saturation temperature or Tsat, and here also we are assuming the surface temperature of the plate is less than the saturation temperature of vapor, then there is a heat transfer from, or there is a latent heat transfer from vapor to the surface. Okay, so there is a phase transformation from vapor to the liquid state. But in the dropwise condensation, there will not be any formation of film over the complete surface. In fact, in fact, the small droplets are formed on some discrete points, where we can find the cracks and the small pits. So at these cracks and small pits, the small droplets are formed, and as the condensation proceeds, the size of the droplets will gradually increases, and because of the gravitational force, these droplets will fall down. So let us consider a plate here. Let us consider a flat plate here. Let us consider a flat plate, and if we assume some cracks or pits, the small pits over the surface of this plate, and if this surface is exposed to the vapor which is at saturation temperature, the Tsat is the temperature of vapor and Ts is the surface temperature. Okay, now when these vapors comes into contact with this surface, and because of the presence of small cavities or small cracks or small pits, there is a formation of water droplets. There are the formation of water droplets. These are the water droplets. Okay, now as the condensation proceeds, the size of these droplets will increase. The size of these droplets will increase, and due to the influence of gravity, these droplets will come down. Okay, so I'm repeating again, in dropwise condensation, we can't find any film which covers the entire surface. As such, we have seen in the film-wise condensation. So this is a main difference between the film-wise condensation and the drop-wise condensation. Okay, so let's have some technical discussion on drop-wise condensation. In drop-wise condensation, the vapor condenses into a small liquid droplets on various sizes, which falls down the surface in random fashion. The drops forms in cracks and pits on the surface, grow in size, break away from the surface. Okay, without forming any film under the influence of gravity. So it is shown on figure 2, that is a dropwise condensation on vertical plate. So this is called the dropwise condensation. Okay, now let's have some more technical discussion on dropwise condensation, and we'll see how the dropwise condensation is different from the film wise condensation. Okay, so concentrate here. In this type of condensation, a large portion of area of solid is directly exposed to the vapor without an insulating film of condensate liquid. Consequently, higher rate of heat transfer, which is of the order 750 kilowatts per meter square, is achieved. So please remember, students, the rate of heat transfer in dropwise condensation is more compared to the film-wise condensation. I repeat, the dropwise condensation, the rate of heat transfer is more compared to the film-wise condensation. Okay, compared to the film-wise condensation. Now, dropwise condensation has been observed to occur on the highly polished surface or on the surface contaminated with impurities like fatty acids and organic compounds. So remember, students, the dropwise condensation takes place on such surfaces which contains the small cracks or pits or small voids, or the surface has some contamination like fatty acids, grease, or any organic compounds. Say for example, this is the plate. Which has some organic compounds like fatty acids or oils or grease. On such contaminated surface, if you expose this contaminated surface with the vapor, the water vapor, then there is a dropwise condensation because of the presence of the fatty acids or any organic compounds on the surface of the plate. Okay, fine. So this type of condensation gives the coefficient of heat transfer generally 5 to 10 times larger than with compared to the film wise condensation. Okay, so please remember students, the heat transfer coefficient, that is H, the heat transfer coefficient, that is H, in case of dropwise condensation, in case of dropwise condensation is 5 to 10 times, is 5 to 10 times, is 5 to 10 times more than that of dropwise the film-wise condensation. Remember students, the dropwise condensation, the heat transfer coefficient is 5 to 10 times more than that of film-wise condensation. Okay, 5 to 10 times. Right here, 5 to 10 times more than. I have to use the mouse here to write, so I'm facing some difficulty here. 5 to 10 times. 5 to 10 times. So 5 to 10 times more than that of heat transfer coefficient in film-wise condensation. So please remember guys, these are the extremely important points which will be asked in the competitive exams. Okay. Now, although the dropwise condensation would be preferred to the film-wise condensation, yet it is extremely difficult to achieve or maintain. See students, practically it's very difficult to attain the dropwise condensation, because as the condensation proceeds for a long period of time, then the complete surface is covered with the film, a thin layer of the condensate. Okay, so it is not possible, it's very difficult to attain the dropwise condensation for longer period of time. Okay, though the rate of heat transfer and the heat transfer coefficient is more compared to the film-wise condensation, but it's very difficult to attain the dropwise condensation in practice for a long period of time. Okay, so dropwise condensation would be preferred to the film-wise condensation, yet it is very difficult to achieve or maintain. This is because most surfaces become wetted after being exposed to the considerable vapors, condensing vapors over a period of time. The dropwise condensation can be obtained. The dropwise condensation can be obtained under the controlled condition, with the help of certain additives to the condensate and the various surface coatings, but its commercially viability has not yet been approved. For this reason, the condensing equipment in use is designed on the basis of film-wise condensation. Okay, now the dropwise condensation can be attained by using some additives to the condensate, but it's very difficult to attain the dropwise condensation for long period of time. So that's why the most of the condensing equipments are designed on the basis of film-wise condensation only. Okay, so these two process or these two forms of condensation are very important from your examination point of view, and sometimes he will ask differentiate between the film-wise and drop-wise condensation, or sometimes he will ask with neat sketch explain the film-wise and drop-wise condensation in detail. So please try to specify all the points whatever has been discussed in this particular slides. Okay, now let's go to a very important topic which is mentioned in the syllabus, and sometimes he will ask for 4 to 5 marks. What is the influence of the presence of non-condensable gases? So what is the influence of the condensation process? What is the influence on the condensation process when the vapor is mixed with the non-condensable gases? Okay, now the presence of non-condensable gases such as air in a condensing vapor produces the detrimental effect on the heat transfer coefficient. Okay, we know that in water vapor, if we have the air, see, when the water vapor comes into contact with the cooled surface, whose the surface temperature is less than the saturation temperature of water vapor, then it undergo condensation. But what about air? Air will not undergo the condensation. Okay, so air is treated as non-condensable gases. Air is treated as non-condensable gases. So because of the presence of non-condensable gases, it has a very negative impact on the condensation process. That will reduces the condensation process to the considerable value. Okay, it has been observed that even with a few percentage by volume of air in the steam, the condensation heat transfer coefficient is reduced more than 50%. So if we have the some percentage by volume of air in the water vapor, then it will reduce the condensation rate by more than 50%. So such a greater impact, negative impact is there due to the presence of non-condensable gases on the condensation process. This is owing to the fact that when a vapor containing non-condensable gases condenses, the non-condensable gas is left on the surface. Any further condensation at the surface will occur only after when incoming vapor diffused through this non-condensable gas collected in the vicinity of the surface. Okay, now let's understand this carefully. Now if we consider the wall, which is a surface temperature Ts. Now if this wall is exposed to the water vapor is containing the non-condensable gases, say air. Air is the perfect example for non-condensable gas. Okay, now as this mixture comes into contact with the surface, the cold surface, there is a latent heat transformation from the latent heat will be transferred from the vapor to the surface. Okay, so thereby forming a condensate over the surface. But these non-condensable gases will be fixed over the surface of this plate, over the surface of the wall. So this non-condensable gases or this layer will act like a barrier for further heat flow. It acts like a barrier for further heat flow, thereby considerably reducing the condensation rate. Okay, so it will have the negative impact on the condensation process. Okay, so non-condensable gases adjacent to the surface acts as a thermal resistance to the condensation process. The rate of condensation decreased greatly when the condensable vapor is contaminated. Even a very small amount of non-condensable gases are present in the vapor. As the presence of non-condensable gas in the condensing vapor is undesirable, the general practice in the design of condenser should be to vent the non-condensable gases to the maximum extent as possible. Okay, so the condensers are designed in such a way that it should vent the non-condensable gases as maximum as possible. Okay, so to perform the condensation effectively. I hope this is clear. With this, we have completed all the theoretical part which comes into the condensation, that is module number 5, chapter number 2. Okay, so if you have any doubt anywhere, you can ask, you can put your comments in the comment box. So in the next lecture, we will solve some numericals on the condensation, and there are chances of asking the numericals on condensation. So you have to practice the condensation problems very thoroughly. Okay, so please like the channel, subscribe the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.